I think I saw you were with Passion before, right? You've obviously built a big YouTube following. So how did you grow the following? And then how did you decide to monetize or turn that into something else as well?
Yeah, I've been making YouTube videos about hiking and fitness for 13 or 14 years, and I've always had a focus on the online thing. I always wanted to create something that could reach a broad audience, worldwide. And I've tried so many different apps to kind of test and experiment, but a lot of them are either very hyper personalized, where you're kind of working with someone one-on-one. A lot of them are very, cookie cutter, kind of broad, that don't offer the member a lot of personalization or any real personalization, and they don't offer a calendar. So that's the first thing that I really liked about Movement. I was like, okay, this is like a menu where it's like having pictures on the menu for the member. They can say, oh, that looks good. I'll add that into my calendar. I'll take this out. I really wanted to educate my members so they're not just taking in all of the things that I recommend, but they're really selecting what they need as they go through this journey of learning their own body. So that was the first thing that I loved. I was like, we can really give the autonomy back to the person where they can test and experiment and try new things. And rather than just buying one program that's like, hey, buy this, it'll fix your problem. It's like, oh, this is a journey. Like, it's a long-term solution of you understanding your body by trying lots of different things. And if you like, reaching out to us, doing some testing, and then we can go a little bit deeper through like a higher level one-to-one thing with some more customization and some more personalization.
And what exactly is your background and what were you using before Movement?
I've used so many different things. I've used my PT Hub, Trainerize, Passion we used for a while. We're still using Passion. We're still kind of going through the process of migrating. I used something called JustCoach, which actually dissolved mid, we were using that and they gave us like a month. And they're like, sorry, we're not offering a service anymore. It's just a nightmare to have this constant change. We really wanted to find one app that we could stick to for a while and say, okay, this is hopefully going to do us forever. And so seeing everything that is available that you guys are offering, I was like, yeah, this is it.
And do you remember exactly how you found us as well?
I actually have no idea. I think it might have just been, actually it was AI. I was talking to Gemini and saying, like, give me a list of like the best ones that can do this, this, and this. That's how I found it.
Oh,
so you have the robots to thank.
Yeah, exactly. We're working on training them too. So do you remember what it was that also like prompted you to be like, I need something else, because you were using Passion? I don't know if you're still using Trainerize or anything like that, but was there like a defining moment that you said, I need something else, this isn't working?
It's like a question that is on my mind. I dream about this in my sleep. Like, I've really wanted the technology to speed up quite quickly for many, many years. And I was kind of astounded that it took this long. Yeah, it's something that I've always been looking out for a long time.
And once you decided on Movement, how long did it take you to build and kind of get close to launching?
Well, I'm still not launched yet, but I have tested it I've got probably 20 or 30 clients on it now, and they're just kind of testing it out. I'm using them as like the beta testers. They will tell me what features they like, where things should be placed, to make it easy for them, just to improve the user experience. But I started I was very non-committal. I was just using my YouTube links I was doing it for free, because I love that you guys have that free option in the beginning, because that enabled me to just like be non-committal and just play around with it. And I was like, okay, well, this seems like it works. And then I started uploading the videos directly. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to commit to this now and sign up and just start doing the migration process and really build it myself. Like, that's the one thing that I like. I'm certainly not good with technology at all in terms of coding or anything like that. But I think I have a bit of an eye for design or like user experience. So I was like, I can figure this out and kind of like build it out in the way that I think is logical for my kind of person. So the one thing that really sealed the deal actually was I do breath training. So a lot of the other apps didn't really have like this a clean kind of audio functionality. And so a large part of what we do is centered around the breath and these audio guides. So building all that out and having it look really nice and clean was a huge priority, especially when it's something that's like not too well known. You need to be able to explain it really well, and it needs to be easy for people, because any kind of resistance will prevent them from actually doing the important things.
For sure. And would you say there's anything else that, when you were doing research and you came across Movement that was kind of really sealed the deal for you? Like things you really appreciated or needed and were a lot different than other platforms you had seen, I guess.
A clean layout where it just looks nice, and the variety in which you can, like, there's not a set structure. You can change literally everything, which is kind of a double-edged sword because it gives you so many options. But having the ability to change literally anything on the layout is huge, and very helpful. So I would say those two things, like having it really look clean and to be able to change it in almost any way imaginable, especially if you can code a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost, yeah, like you said, a double-edged sword because then if people don't have a strong vision, they can get stuck in the what should I do? How should I lay it out? But yeah, it does give you options all the time to change and iterate and test. Have you had any feedback so far from the people that have tested movement within your community?
Yeah, the first person that I put on who was using one of our previous services, she was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! Everything loads really quickly. I love the layout." She was a little confused about how it gives you two options. You can have it as a list or as a follow along. It took her a little while to figure that out. But other than that, like so far, it seems to be very intuitive for the people who are testing it out. So quite hopeful in that regard.
And do you have like a launch plan on movement or when you want to fully migrate and launch or not really yet?
No, I'm not much of a launcher, and perhaps that's to my detriment. Like I'm just kind of testing it with a few more people. I'm still sort of quite hesitant, but I think maybe a few more weeks of testing this out and getting a little bit more feedback, I'll be ready to do a little bit more of a launch to a wider audience and say like, hey, this is ready to go.
Yeah, no, that's a good strategy. It's really good. Like I talked to a breathing physio actually recently as well, and she said the same thing. Like she's getting people in to test it, get their feedback on what they actually want, what they like, what they don't like, and then we'll kind of go a little bit further with a launch. But has anything changed for your business? I guess I know that you haven't launched per se, but just behind the scenes or anything since using movement or since, yeah, starting to use it for your business?
I think the way that my brain works is it's very useful for me to be able to build out my ideas in real time. Like planning out something on a Google Doc or a spreadsheet is very different for me personally. I need to be able to see it kind of evolve and build like right in front of me, and then I make the decisions. That's just how I work. So that has enabled me to stop procrastinating in a lot of ways and stop overthinking and just build and build and build and just see how it evolves. That's been the big thing for me. I think that it's really helped me like stop overthinking and asking questions and criticizing my every move and just build and just see what happens. So that's been huge.
Awesome. And I'm curious as well, how did you build such a big following on YouTube and online in general?
I made videos about what people want to hear about. I built a big audience. And in my case, it was like gear. Hikers just really love gear. I made loads of videos about gear, and I would sprinkle in the healthy kind of things that they need to know every now and then. I would make a video about, training or breathwork or like mindset and strength and conditioning. And so I built up the audience with maybe the sweet treats that they like, and I start kind of influencing them in my subtle ways to make healthier choices. And of course, we don't get the views that we're used to on the stuff that people really love to see, but it's provided a situation where I don't need to run ads, which I'm very thankful for. I have a big audience who know, like, and trust me. And yeah, it's enabled me to focus all of my time, attention, and resources on just building the best product without having to, pay loads of money for ads. And it's not to say that you need a huge audience to do this. Like you could do it with much, much smaller numbers than I have. And I haven't even really tapped into the opportunities that are there yet, because I want this thing to be really as seamless as possible before I do a big launch to a wider audience.
Yeah. And do you have a vision for like the next year or what you want Move to turn into?
Yes, yeah, I do. But I'm constantly sort of evolving with the style of and the system that we use. So for me, it's more about learning the human body to the highest degree that I can, and getting really good at drilling down on what it is a particular individual actually needs. So my vision for this is a tool for me to understand the human body by doing lots of testing and experimenting. And it's a wonderful kind of experience to have where I've got an easy way for people to interact with me online, to self-educate essentially, and to get a good outcome. So Yeah. If anything, the overall vision of the business is to enable people to connect with nature, to have the ability to get back outside and spend more time outside as they get older, as the inevitable sort of entropy of getting older comes in. I want to enable people to get back out into the mountains or get back out into nature and reconnect with that. And that's about the best thing that I can do for humanity, I think, is to get people to spend more time outside.